If you care about real historical survival knowledge, not recycled trivia, make sure you subscribe to this channel now and share it with someone who values serious history. What we're covering today is one of those overlooked wartime technologies that quietly shaped how soldiers survived extreme cold long before electricity, modern synthetics, or heated gear existed. This is not nostalgia. This is field-tested engineering, born in war, that still outperforms many modern cold-weather solutions. Why wartime militaries stopped trusting wool alone. By the early years of the Second World War, armies had already learned a hard lesson. Wool, while warm, had limits. It absorbed moisture, lost insulation when wet, and became dangerously heavy in freezing conditions. Soldiers operating in Europe, the Aleutians and high-altitude bomber crews, faced cold that did not forgive design mistakes. Frostbite, trench foot, and exposure injuries were disabling entire units faster than enemy fire. Military quartermasters needed insulation that could trap heat, efficiently manage moisture, and function inside layered systems. The solution was not a heavier coat, but a removable insulating insert designed to work with the human body rather than against it. This is where the jacket liner quietly changed everything. The Second World War jacket insert that outperformed wool. The most effective example came from United States military aviation and ground forces, particularly with garments developed under the authority of the United States Army and the United States Army Air Forces. Jackets, like the B-10 and later B-15 flight jackets, abandoned traditional wool lining in favor of alpaca pile inserts. Alpaca fiber, woven into a thick, fur-like interior, created thousands of tiny air pockets that trapped body heat with remarkable efficiency. What made this insert hotter than wool was not thickness, but structure. The pile stood upright, maintaining loft even when compressed by outer shells or gear. Unlike wool, it resisted matting when damp and, dried faster in field conditions. Pilots flying at altitude without modern pressurization depended on this insulation to prevent hypothermia at temperatures far below zero. Ground troops saw similar innovations with quilted liners designed to button or snap into outer field jackets. These inserts created modular warmth, allowing soldiers to adapt to changing conditions without carrying multiple heavy coats. How the liner worked as a complete thermal system. The genius of the Second World War jacket insert was that it was never meant to be worn alone. It functioned as the heart of a layered system. The outer shell blocked wind and precipitation. The insert trapped heat. Underlayers wickered moisture away from the skin. This division of labour meant each layer could do one job extremely well. When a soldier moved, sweat passed through the liner instead of soaking it. When stationary, trapped air inside the pile slowed heat loss dramatically. Wool tried to do all these jobs at once and failed under sustained stress. The liner succeeded because it was specialized. This is why, veterans consistently reported that these jackets actually felt warmer than the much heavier wool greatcoats, even though they weighed less overall. So why did this technology disappear from civilian knowledge? Well, after the war, surplus liners just flooded civilian markets. But the logic behind them was, for the most part, largely forgotten. Fashion, well, it really simplified the system. Heavy coats ended up replacing modular layers. Later on, synthetic insulation tried to mimic the performance, but it lost the repairability and, honestly, the durability of natural fibres. Alpaca pile, in particular, was quite expensive and, labour-intensive to produce. Military budgets moved on, and civilian consumers just followed trends, not field data. What remained was a quiet piece of survival technology that historians often overlook because it hides inside the jacket rather than defining its silhouette. You know, how survivalists and historians can apply this today is really fascinating. This knowledge is not theoretical, it's immediately usable. A modern survivalist can, replicate the World War II system by prioritizing a high-loft liner under a windproof shell rather than relying on a single insulated coat. Vintage reproduction liners, alpaca pile garments, or even modern fleece modelled after pile construction can be used the same way. In cold, damp environments, the rule is simple. Separate wind protection from insulation. If you are stationary, add loft. If you are moving, vent moisture. World War II soldiers were taught to remove liners during heavy exertion and reinstall them when resting. That habit alone prevented countless cold injuries. For historians, examining these inserts explains why certain campaigns succeeded logistically while others failed. Cold kills armies that misunderstand clothing systems. The liner represents institutional learning written into fabric. And why does this matter more now than ever? Modern society assumes electricity solves cold, but history proves otherwise. Power fails, fuel runs out, clothing remains. The World War II jacket insert stands as proof that intelligent design, grounded in field experience, can outperform brute force solutions like heavy wool or excessive layering. This was not comfort gear. It was survival equipment refined under lethal pressure. Understanding it means understanding how people endured environments that would otherwise have killed them. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe to the channel, share this episode with another serious history buff, and keep these lessons alive. The past already solved problems we're going to face again.